From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, APC presidential candidate meets Christian Association of Nigeria, defends same-faith ticket choice. Senate debates new Naira note, rejects call for deadline extension. Gunmen kill 11 people in Plateau as drunk soldier kills army general. And on the international scene, first United Nations aid convoy enters Ethiopia's Tigray first time after ceasefire. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I'm Darshan Husseina Usman. And we begin with politics, where the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, on Wednesday met with the leadership of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Abuja. The meeting is the second leg of the CAN presidential interactive session. The APC candidate was accompanied by his wife, Oluremi, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, governors, federal lawmakers, and some chieftains of the party. At the meeting, Tinubu told the CAN leadership that his decision to fight for the nation's top job is in line with the country's constitution, as he allayed fears over his same-faith ticket.
I have never led myself to baseless prejudice and discrimination. To do so will be a recipe for failure in governance of a diverse society. And I'm not a man that is in that frame of mind. I never chased people out of Lagos, nor made them feel unwanted under my administration. Lagos welcomed all comers and continue to do so till today.
The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has pledged to form a government of national unity if elected. The former vice president also promised to kickstart and see through the process of restructuring the polity. The PDP candidate said his government will encourage liberalized economy through the private sector and improve the nation's wealth. Speaking as a guest at the Nigerian Editors Forum in Lagos Wednesday, Atiku said the PDP would form a government of national unity as a way of uniting the country by assigning active roles to members of the opposition parties. He said his government will not leave any of the geopolitical zones behind in governance. Still talking politics, presidential candidate of the new Nigerian People's Party, Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, says he is not in support of the clamor for state police, as it will be used by state executives to harass and intimidate their political opponents. Kwankwaso, who was responding to an inquiry on his views regarding the restructuring debate at a town hall engagement organized by the Northern Broadcast Media Owners Association in Abuja, however, says he will create forest and border guards to tackle insecurity and proliferation of arms if elected president. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports.
The NNPP presidential candidate, who took time to explain his plans on addressing the contemporary and existential challenges plaguing the northern region, narrates harrowing experiences in the hands of his successor, expressing worries that if created, state police will be abused by the state executives.
Dama shine babban aikin gwamnati, duk wata gwamnatin kirki aikin ta kenan ba a Najeriya ba.
Providing security is major responsibility of every government. Therefore, we will utilize our military personnel to secure our forests, like the Birnin Gwari and Sambisa.
While unveiling some of the strategies he intends to use to tackle the ravaging insecurity in the region, Kwankwaso says the nation's armed forces, as last line of defense, must be free to face their core responsibility and allow civil authorities to take care of internal security.
Peace and security is paramount. No development will be achieved without peace. Our security forces are grossly inadequate. We don't have up to 250,000 so far.
The NNPP presidential candidate reaffirmed his commitment to addressing the rot in the education sector, which he described as foundation to resetting the nation and addressing its challenges.
Once we assume leadership, no child in Nigeria will have to buy form for sitting in any examination of any kind.
He reiterated commitment to creating an enabling environment for agriculture to thrive through adequate incentives, just as he rolls out plans for youth and women empowerment, amongst others. Shapir Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Senate has resolved to provide legislative support for the policy of the Central Bank of Nigeria to redesign some of the Naira notes. The upper chamber made this resolution after a heated debate on a motion moved by Senator Uba Sani on CBN's policy. The report.
The Central Bank of Nigeria had in October announced a new policy to redesign the 1,000, 500 and 200 Naira denominations. To some analysts, the policy is considered untimely. As the Senate resumed plenary this Wednesday after a 4-week recess, the issue of Naira note redesign was brought forward for debate. Chairman, Senate Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions, Senator Uba Sani, moved the motion for the debate.
In recent years, the bank has recorded a consistent rise in incidences of counterfeiting of the Naira, with 500 and 1,000 denomination banknotes most attacked. The threat to counterfeiting of the two denominations is a function of a large margin between cost of counterfeiting and gains derivable from the criminal act.
Majority of the senators across party lines supported the policy, but however called for an extension of the deadline in order to ensure that more people comply. Senate also suggests that the CBN governor, governing Emefiele, appears before it to shed more light on the policy.
1 month and a half is extremely short for what we're about to do. Because if you withdraw 1 trillion from this economy at once in a month, the ripple effect will affect everybody. It will affect our buying power, it will affect markets, it will affect traders, it will affect everybody.
In matters like this, you don't need to flog it and over-publicize it. Those who have decided to do this between the Mr. President and the CBN government, they know why they are doing this thing. Let us leave them alone.
Other lawmakers, however, have contrary opinions.
If the CBN had wanted our support, we are major stakeholders in the economy of this country. One would have expected that there would have been proper consultation, even though it is our exclusive preserve to do what they are doing. But then there was no consultation. After the printing has commenced, the president has approved and said, I'll legislative support. It would be ridiculous for us to go ahead and do that. Let him go ahead and do what he's doing.
Deputy Senate President Oviomo Agege, who presided over Wednesday's plenary, agreed with the CBN policy of redesigning the Naira.
It is within the exclusive preserve of the CBN board on the based on the recommendation of Mr. President and the approval of Mr. President to carry out this redesigning, the form and the marks is within the exclusive preserve. And this also applies to timing.
The new Naira notes are expected to be launched on the 15th of December 2022, while the deadline for the old note is January 31st, 2023.
As the 2023 general elections draw closer, the Independent National Electoral Commission says it will begin weekly media briefings to inform Nigerians on the progress made by the Commission. In a statement he signed personally on Wednesday, INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu said the Commission will start with a bi-weekly briefing and later progress to weekly and daily briefings. The INEC boss reiterated that the Commission's loyalty to Nigerians who want free, fair, credible, and verifiable elections supported by technology, which guarantees transparent accreditation and upload of polling unit results for citizens to view in real time on election day. He also restated that there is no going back on the bimodal voter accreditation system and the INEC result viewing portal for the 2023 general elections. Mahmoud appealed to political parties and political leaders to conduct their campaigns peacefully, eschewing divisiveness, rancor, and violence. A lawyer, Mike Enahoro Eba, has sued the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, over allegations bordering on certificate forgery, falsification of age, and lying on oath. Enahoro Eba sued Tinubu in 3 separate direct criminal complaints filed at the Chief Magistrate Court sitting at Wuse Zone 6, Abuja. In the matters dated November 9 and filed on November 10, 2022 by the lawyer, he alleged that Tinubu lied on oath, having falsely sworn to an affidavit in support of his personal particulars in Form EC9 submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission on June 17, 2022. He also alleged that Tinubu presented a forged Chicago State University certificate to INEC with the intent that it may be acted upon as genuine, thereby committing the offense of forgery contrary to Sections 362 subsection A, Section 363 and 364 of the Penal Code Act, Cap 532, Laws of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The lawyer said copies of Chicago State University certificate, academic records, undergraduate admission application form, University of Cambridge General Certificate of Education, and copy of Southwest College transcript were later sent to him, which he attached to the court documents as exhibits. He alleged that the copy of the Chicago State University certificate released by the school is radically different from the copy attached to Tinubu's sworn Form EC9 submitted to INEC on June 17. Now moving to education, the Minister of Education, Adamu, is insisting that the lecturers will not be paid for the period they were on strike, as federal government cannot breach its no work, no pay policy. He spoke to newsmen at State House, Abuja on Wednesday on the protest by the Academic Staff Union of Universities over pro rata payment of the October salaries of lecturers. The minister spoke after the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council meeting, during which the cabinet approved the contract for the printing of sensitive and necessary materials for the National Examination Council in the sum of over 5.1 billion naira. Kehinde Amodu reports.
Lecturers in a couple of universities have embarked on protests against the pro rata payment of October salaries, alleging that the decision by government was a ploy to make them casual workers. The minister says this is not so.
How can anybody make a university lecturer or a casual? Do you know the meaning of casual worker? But if you know the meaning of a casual worker, it is impossible to make a university lecturer a casual worker.
But insists that the position of the federal government has not changed.
That's the position of the government, that it is not going to pay anyone for work not done. And they only did, I think, the number of days that they were paid.
The back and forth between the minister and ASU shows there's still some disquiet in the education sector at the tertiary level. At lower levels, however, business continues as usual, with the cabinet approving 3 contracts for the education ministry, including the printing of sensitive and necessary materials for the National Examinations Council, NECO. Meanwhile, the cabinet also approved on Wednesday the contract for the procurement of operational vehicles for the Federal Road Safety Commission to the sum of 2.5 billion naira. This week's Federal Executive Council was presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari, the first after his 2-week medical leave in London. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Similarly, the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammadu Sa'adu Abubakar, on Wednesday said frequent strikes are not the resolution or solution to the problems facing the university system in Nigeria, and appealed to members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities to devise other alternatives to dispute resolution. He said this during the inauguration of a building in memory of retired Justice of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, late Justice Bola Babalakin, donated to Fountain University in Osogbo, Osun State by the Babalakin family. The traditional ruler, who appealed to the federal government to honor its past agreements with lecturers in order to put a permanent stop to strikes by ASUU, said the federal government alone cannot fund education and urged public-spirited individuals to contribute their quota.
And once you have agreed on any other issue, please try to implement what was agreed. If you feel you cannot, come back to the table again and discuss more, and then you have other alternatives to such to solution of such a problem, but not embarking on strike that will affect the children. I know how much psychologically and educationally our children have been affected by the 8 months sit at home. And I think that's not good for us. I've been pleading with ASUU. I've been part of the negotiation team with ASUU at the federal government level, and I know what we have discussed. But I think we could do more in being honest to one another, in ensuring our children, whom we all care for, remain in school and graduate.
A civil servant in Kaduna State ventured into ice block selling to feed his family, as his salary cannot sustain him for a month amidst the rising cost of living. Muhammad Antony, with a wife and 6 children, finds it difficult to survive due to persistent increase in the price of commodities in the market. Bello Musa has more.
The rising cost of living occasioned by rising inflation is no doubt hitting hard on salary earners, as salary no longer sustain many families.
This rising cost of essential commodities really affect a civil servant in so many ways. When you buy this locally made rice, Nigerian made rice, it costs about more than 30,000 now. About 32, 34 or thereabout, more than 30,000 naira. Not to talk of the foreign rice. We are not even talking about that. We are talking of the local rice that was produced, that is produced in Nigeria, sometimes precisely within Kaduna and other places. It's more than 30,000 naira. And you are giving 30,000 naira as your minimum wage. Where do you start from?
Living on salary becomes challenging to him, as he finds it difficult to cater for his family's basic needs. Anthony, through contribution and family support, ventured into selling ice blocks to augment his salary.
I was able to even make some kind of contributions within ourselves, within my colleagues. I was able to buy cold room, this kind of bigger fridge that was fabricated here in Kaduna, precisely in Panteka. It will be fabricated, it will be made in such a way that it will serve as a fridge where you will put in water in a ladder to produce ice blocks. If there is no light, that means that day there will be nothing for us. We earn, like, say, maybe 500, 700 on daily basis. Then we spend that 200 or 250 for our daily needs. Then we save 500 naira, so that at the end of the month it will be used to support that salary.
According to him, civil servants are in terrible condition due to cost of living, and to cushion the effect, he therefore suggests living wage instead of minimum wage.
Government should look inward and let's have a living wage, not a minimum wage, a living wage, A living wage is something that can take care of yourself, your needs. I started working in 1992. That time my salary was just about 470 naira. Not even up to 1,000 or 500. 470 naira per month. But within that time, I would buy foodstuff and then have some little changes that will remain up to the following month. I could have maybe like 2 naira, 3 naira up to the next coming month. But now, to God who made me, my salary doesn't exceed 24 hours in my hand.
Besides civil servants, other Nigerians are battling with the rising prices of goods and services, which they hope government will rise up to the occasion and fix the economy. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
On security, gunmen on Tuesday night killed 11 persons and injured others in Maikatako community of Bokos local government area of Plateau State. Spokesman of the State Police Command, Alfred Alabo, who confirmed the incident, said the police were currently going after the assailants. The latest attack is coming barely 1 week after 7 persons were killed in 3 communities of Takai, Qunet and Kulias in the same Bokos local government area. The Plateau State Governor, Simon Lalong, who also condemned the Tuesday incident, has ordered security forces to go after terrorists who attacked the village, saying the killers must be fished out and brought to justice. Meanwhile, the Commander, Operation Safe Haven and GOC 3rd Armored Division, Major General Ibrahim Ali, has visited the attacked community where he inspected the houses burned and properties destroyed. General Ali, who received briefing from the sector commander on the nature of the attack and efforts made to counter the terrorists in the area, commended the troops and the community vigilante for their quick intervention, which prevented further loss or lives. The Director of Finance of the Nigerian Armed Forces Resettlement Center, Brigadier General O.A. James, is dead. The top army officer died Tuesday night from injuries he suffered after he was hit by a car driven by a corporal, Abayomi Ebun, believed to be drunk. The incident happened at about 10:30 p.m. Tuesday as Brigadier General James was walking to his residence inside the NAFRC barracks in Lagos. It was gathered that the general was rushed to the NAFRC Medical Center after the incident, where he was confirmed dead. The Army corporal has since been arrested and is being detained by the provost marshals investigating the matter. The Nigerian Army is yet to comment on the incident. Until his death, Brigadier General James was a senior member of the Nigerian Army Finance Corps and was decorated with the Meritorious Service Star and Pass Staff College. Still on security, bandits struck Zakka town of Safana local government area of Katsina State Tuesday evening. The terrorists who attacked the farmers while working on their farms abducted many and rustled an unspecified number of domestic animals. Zakka town, a farming community in Katsina State, has suffered attacks by bandits in the last year. Residents in this farming community are pained by the activities of bandits and promise to come up with strategic solutions to rescue the victims. In a telephone chat with Trust TV's correspondent in Katsina, residents of the affected town said they are tired of activities of bandits. They said most of them have been rendered poor, with many displaced to other towns for safety. On a sad note, a 3-year-old girl, Lydia Azatium, who went missing about 3 weeks ago and was rescued from a dry well in Jos after 3 days of intense search, has been found dead after she disappeared again. She was earlier declared missing by her family on Thursday, October 27, after she disappeared while playing with other kids in the compound in Angwanyashi area of Tudunwada community in Jos local government area of Plateau State. The report.
3-year-old Lydia came from Kwara State to Jos about a month ago with her mother and brother to visit her aunt who reside at Tudunwada. Her initial disappearance happened when she was playing outdoors with her brother and cousins who were on midterm break when she vanished into the thin air. While the community was yet to recover from the shock of her first disappearance, she again disappeared after a week and a few days. But this time, she wasn't found alive. Lydia's mother, Hannah, said she is still in shock over the incident, adding that before her daughter's disappearance, the second time, they shared happy moments together.
It happened on Thursday. I got back from work around after 5. So when I got inside, I met my daughter here with her siblings. They were playing. When she saw me, she was so excited and she hugged me. I carried her and she was checking all over my body and saying, "Mommy, are you okay?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "Do you miss me?" I said, "Yes." Then I dropped her. We went to our own room.
What happened, honestly, we felt bad. A young lady like this, we miss her. Just 3 years, baby girl. When she fell down inside the well, we all confused in this compound. All of us contemplate, is it somebody that threw her inside? Or she's just walking, she fell down, we don't know.
This is the second time. The first one is almost 1 week, then the covenant for the second time. The other one is outside the compound, that is well, the neighboring house there. And the second one that she's late now, the small girl of 3 years inside the compound. This one that happened that she's late now is inside the compound there. So my suggestion or advice, this is not an honorary something. My advice within people that they reside inside the compound is such they safe inside the compound.
Meanwhile, most people in the community believe there is something odd about the incident, pointing out that there is every need for proper investigation to unravel the mystery.
You're watching Trust News Updates. Coming up after the break. Why 1 million cows for vaccination in Adamawa? Do stay with us.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. My name is Femi Adebayo. This holiday season, StarTimes is taking us to a better level. You can step up your family entertainment with the StarTimes upgrade promo. You recharge 2 months on Nova Bouquet and get upgraded to Basic or Smart Bouquet. Recharge 2 months on Basic or Smart Bouquet, you get upgraded to Classic or Super Bouquet. And if you recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet, you get 10 days free on your subscription. This upgrade automatically qualifies you for a weekly draw to win 55-inch Smart TV, PA systems, home appliances, and more. These prizes are proudly sponsored by Longreach, Wayon, and Amaz. This promo is from the 15th November to 15th January 2023. Times and conditions apply. On StarTimes, every day is the best day ever. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. StarTimes. Entertain your family.
Ba a iya sutura da abinci jin daɗin duniyar mai ƙare. Za ka iya more rayuwarka da kayan alfarma na kamfanin Vento Furniture kamar su Lady Corner Sets, Escape Sofa Sets, Acadia Sofa, Piano Sofa Sets, Sofa Corner Sets, Vento Sofa Sets. Sannan kuma za ku iya saka ƙayatattun gadaje na alfarma a ɗakunan kamar su Gold Cream Bedroom Sets ko kuma wadata falon ku da kujeru na alfarma irin su Sare Royal Set da Acadia Dining Sets. Ofishoshin ku kuwa za ku iya saka manya-manyan kujeru na kecere domin walwala da jin daɗin ku da abokan hulɗa. Kamfanin Vento Furniture ya tanadar muku gadajen bacci na yara masu inganci, kayan ɗaki irin na angwaye da amare har ma da sarakuna. Muna da shagunan mu a gurare kamar haka: 79 Allen Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos; 7A Azikiwe Road, Port Harcourt; 25 Glover Road, Ikoyi, Lagos; Shop U1 Jabi Lake Mall, Abuja; da kuma 4330 Walker Road, Windsor, Ontario ga mazauna ƙasar Canada. Vento Furniture mun zagaye ko ina.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Here's a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that APC presidential candidate meets Christian Association of Nigeria defends same faith ticket choice. We also told you that Senate debates new Naira note, rejects call for deadline extension. Moving to other news, the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Tinubu, has commiserated with the family of a member of the Lagos State House of Assembly, Shobo Olawale, popularly called Omititi. Olawale, who was the chairman of the House Committee on Local Government at the Lagos Assembly, reportedly slumped and died on Tuesday after the flag-off of Tinubu's presidential campaign at the Rwangpam Township Stadium in Jos, the Plateau State capital. Olawale represented Mushin constituency 2 at the State House of Assembly before his death. Tinubu, in a Twitter post on Wednesday, described the deceased as a beloved family man, committed lawmaker, and loyal party faithful who was unrelenting in his support for the growth and development of Lagos State and Nigeria. Moving to crime, police in Niger State have arrested a 24-year-old fake doctor, Clement Joseph, at Chanchaga, Mina, Niger State for alleged impersonation of a medical practitioner. Niger State Police Public Relations Officer Wasiu Abiodun said in a statement that the suspect was arrested for parading himself as a medical doctor and defrauding somebody of 280,000 naira under a fake online business called Zuga Coins International. He said the suspect had confessed to having carnal knowledge of 4 female victims, impregnated one of the victims, conspired with one Aliyu presently at large, and aborted the pregnancy of one other victim. In a similar development, Abiodun said police in the state had arrested 18-year-old Shehu Baidu of Congo Lapai for alleged kidnapping. Abiodun said the suspect was arrested by police operatives attached to Lapai Division after being suspected to be a member of a kidnapping syndicate terrorizing Gurara, Lapai, and its environs. He said during interrogation, the suspect confessed that between May 2021 and August 2022, he conspired with one Mammang Malam, Sidi, Buba, Shehu, Abubakar, Kurakura, and Shede. They operated with 3 AK-47 rifles, invaded Gurara Dam site and Maijaki village, where they kidnapped 10 victims, collected 2.6 million naira ransom before the victims were released. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has apologized to the former national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshiomhole, for supporting the re-election of Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State in September 2020. Wike tendered the apology to Oshiomhole when the ex-APC chairman commissioned the Rumo Ekpericom flyover in the Obiakpo local government area of the state. The report.
Governor Wike said he has learned his lessons and advised that the past should remain in the past.
He also reiterated that he would not support anyone that does not have the interest of Rivers people at heart.
I want to tell my people I sincerely apologize to you, but you too, you prepared me here. During 2019 elections, you sent in all the soldiers in this world, but the people stood firm and resisted it. So you did me one, me I did you one. So now we are friends.
1-1.
So let's back from the bygone. So he did me, I retaliated. But even though in the Bible they say when somebody does you bad, don't retaliate. Politically, when anybody does it back, retaliate.
Inaugurating the flyover project, Oshomole, who is also a former Edo State governor, lauded Wike for initiating and completing many beautiful projects in Rivers State, saying results don't lie. Oshomole denied using agencies to disrupt the 2019 governorship campaign and elections in Rivers State while he was the national chairman of the APC.
Those executive exchanges have a way of communicating to our people that political divide is not war. It is my hope and prayers that more people like you will come into governance. Because a country cannot be led by people who can sustain a fight on what they believe in. Somebody asked me, on the matter I don't do, I said, you cannot correct the truth. I mean, you can't change a position you have taken on principle if the basis of the decision has not changed. That is character.
Both Obaseki and Oshomole, however, fell apart due to intra-party squabbles, and Obaseki couldn't secure the APC ticket to return to office in 2020. Meanwhile, Obaseki and Wike have been at loggerheads amid crisis rocking the PDP, as Obaseki backed PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, whilst Wike continued to demand the resignation of Iochia Ayu as a precondition to support Atiku's presidential ambition for 2023.
Youths across the 16 local governments of Kwara State have held a rally across Ilorin, the state capital, calling for an end to the reign of the All Progressives Congress in the country. The youths, in their thousands and mainly members of the People's Democratic Party, marched around the town, citing insecurity, lack of jobs, and failed promises of the ruling party. The report.
Despite the scorching sun, the youths who are members of the People's Democratic Party marched for several kilometers from Geri Alimi, Taiwo Road, Unity Road, and stopped at Tanke Junction. They cited failed promises of the incumbent government, lack of jobs for the youths, and insecurity as some of the reasons why Nigerians should vote out the All Progressives Congress across the country.
When they came, they told us that the government of yesterday was bad. They told us that there is no employment, that if it was them, they would give us better employment. They told us that food are expensive, that when they come to power, food will be cheap. They told us that our road infrastructures are bad. But today, we realize that that time they were saying koto, koto, koto. Now we have realized that the koto griwo. They told us that there was no food. Rice was 17,000, 7,000 that time. Today, rice is close to 50,000 naira. A bag of thermometer 10 kg is now 10,000 naira. Since the youths have come out, we will all mobilize word by word, polling unit by polling unit, and we will sweep any bad governance out. We have resolved that any government that we vote now, after 4 years and you have not performed, we will send you out. With that, the government that will be coming in will change and will give us a better structure.
Former Senate President Bukola Saraki commended the youth for their zeal of the youth and determination for positive change in the state. While comparing the administration of the APC and PDP, Saraki added that it is now clear to the people that it was time to take back the state and country.
Well, it's something that has been spontaneous. I think it's a reaction to what they've all been through. As I said, in 2019, a lot of them were giving wrong impressions, were told that this will happen, that will happen. Promises have not been met. And they've seen that it's time for them to go to a government that will perform. Go back to the government of PDP that cares for the people. Because the youth have here the spoken in their mind that it's time for a new government.
Over 20,000 youths took part in the march, chanting several songs calling for an end to the rule of the All Progressives Congress across the country.
Delta State Police Command says it has arrested a 42-year-old man for allegedly killing his wife, girlfriend, as well as setting their hotel room on fire and masterminding his own kidnap. The State Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Ali, disclosed this when he briefed the press on the command's latest successes in fighting crime. The report.
Parading the suspect at the force headquarters, the police boss highlighted the force's achievements during the period under review. Of note are two separate murders where David Olare, a 42-year-old man and father of 3, allegedly murdered his wife after 13 years of marriage over a disagreement. Another suspect, Emmanuel Ojedebe, a 22-year-old, also allegedly murdered his girlfriend, suspected to be a commercial sex worker, because the victim took away his mobile phone. He was also accused of setting the hotel room they lodged in ablaze, ran away, and then masterminded his own kidnapped and extorted the sum of 4 million naira from his father. The other suspects involved in various crimes such as kidnapping, gun runners, armed robbers, and internet fraud, he said, will soon have their dates in court.
The arrest of a suspected self-kidnapper, murder, and arson, following the murder of a lady named Peace, her surname unknown, suspected to be a commercial sex worker, who was killed by one Emmanuel. That of arrest of a suspect who murdered his wife. This happened precisely on the 2nd of this month, when DPO Ozoro received a distress call. So the DPO swiftly mobilized his men, who broke into the apartment and discovered that the victim was murdered.
And he heard me. As he heard me, so I push her. So the way I push her, so I push her and she fell off, and he used her head to hit at the burglary proof. She stole my phone and my clothes. Then I took it back and took her phone too. Then we got into an argument and I stabbed her.
Are Muhammad Ali also debunked rumors of his alleged kidnap in Nasarawa State, as reported on social media days ago, and warned against fake news.
A misguided and mischievous criminal element from somewhere unleashed this information into the social media and said CP Nasarawa was kidnapped and my picture was attached there. I was perplexed and I felt thoroughly embarrassed by that information. But to God be the glory, we are on their trail.
He assured that the command will leave no stone unturned at ensuring that criminal activities are reduced to the barest minimum in the state under his watch.
Members of the House of Representatives Committee on Ecological Fund have expressed anger with the management of the National Emergency Management Agency over its alleged selective distribution of 12,000 metric tons of grain as relief for flood victims. The lawmakers queried the mode of distribution on the grounds that not all the states affected by the recent flood benefited from the relief materials. The report.
A visible angry Joseph Oguma, who later stormed out of the committee when he raised objections to claim by NEMA that the state houses of assembly members were involved in distribution of the relief materials. He stated that 14 members of his state assembly Edo have not been sworn in to date, wondering who NEMA had dealings with. Chairman of the committee, Ishaka Ibrahim, also berated NEMA for its non-performance, threatening to rescind the support it's getting from the National Assembly.
There is a very serious communication gap, and that is why we are having this issue. You can see that even your director is not able to explain or distinguish between senators, House of Representatives, and House of Assembly. Nobody is going to ask to appropriate what the president approved or your function to go and do in the states. The question and the gap there is, while going to the state, members from that state, you did not carry them along to say, I'm doing so in your state, for them to be part of what is being done there.
I move a motion concerning my federal constituency, and that is the only way they communicate to you. I don't have any personal relationship with you. I don't have to ask you for anything because I don't need anything from you. But my people, they are part of Nigeria. And I want to put it to you that you people were not appointed to be partial. You swear an oath before you take your office. The way you treat some of us from this area, is that the same way you are treating other people?
In his submission, the Director General of NEMA informed the committee of the agency's prompt response to save lives of Nigerians and safeguard their livelihoods. He said his agency's early warning alerts to state government help minimize the impact of impending flood disaster permitted by NIMAT and NISA.
So we're talking of handling disaster in all its ramifications. This same ecological that we are talking about that we receive, you mentioned it that states receive it, local government receives it. Disaster has a triple response. It's like a federal government. It hits a local government, or it hits a community. The first responder is supposed to be the local emergency management committee. The second responder is the state. It's only when the capacity of the state is exceeded. That's when you call on the federal government.
According to reports, a total of 181,600 houses were partially damaged, 123,807 houses totally damaged, 176,852 hectares of farmland partially destroyed, 392,300 hectares of farmland were totally destroyed as a result of the flooding this year.
The federal government has been tasked to take advantage of geospatial technology for effective planning in response to climate change, insecurity, among other emerging challenges. The call was part of resolutions at the Geospatial Stakeholders Conference, which was part of activities marking the 2022 Geographic Information System Day. Speakers at the event, which attracted officials of the National Space Research and Development Agency, security agents, IT engineers, among others, are unanimous in their submissions on the opportunities provided by geospatial technology. The theme of Geographic Information Day 2022, Inspiring Spatial Citizens, is intended to empower a wide demography to engage with their spatial awareness as a powerful tool in the growth and betterment of societies.
And one of the major problems of geospatial technology in the country is software. Software, two aspects of it, cost and knowledge, is what you have. People carry the software, but they don't know how to use it. So, and that's one major issue itself. And the number is increasing because universities and colleges are introducing GIS. One, there are no people to train. And then two, the users don't exist. Then the users that exist do not have the appropriate software. And even when they have what they have tried to download from sites that provide those with cracked licenses, they still don't know how to use it.
One of the major issues is flood here in Nigeria, especially. There's a lot of flood. And again, understanding where this flood is happening, the frequencies of these floods, understanding the population around it. So I will know when I will respond. What do I need to do? How many people are being displaced because of the floods? How many people are going to be affected because of the floods? Where are they going? How can I do to help them to respond and to attend to their needs? Location is important. So at a local level, my team are on the grounds for any responder. I need to know where they are. I need to help them. Location is important. But also at the leadership level, having a better visualization, having a better understanding on how things are happening, where are they happening. They will be able to take better decisions because they are using maps with ongoing challenges. So it's the maps will help them to better visualize and will help them to better understand how to respond and take effective decisions.
Adamawa State Government said it is committed towards nipping in the bud all causes of herder-farmer clashes in the state. This was made known at the flag-off of mass vaccination campaign against transboundary animal diseases. Salis Lowang reports that 1 million cows are expected to be vaccinated, while 3 million cattle are targeted within the next year. The report.
The transboundary animal diseases, which are highly contagious, are also transmissible with the potential of spreading rapidly among cattle, causing negative socio-economic and public health consequences.
It's a normal routine by the state government. They started vaccinating the animals because they want the human beings to be healthy. That's why whatever the human being consumed, it is the government intention to make sure that whatever they consumed is properly processed.
While urging the pastoralists to make good use of the opportunity of free vaccination for their animals, stakeholders said a greater understanding of the factors contributing to the disease pathogenesis and spread is needed.
Most animal diseases are about the portals that is affecting the health of humans. WHO has it that 75% of emerging and re-emerging diseases that affect human beings are from the animal angle. And for this reason, it's an annual exercise that all transboundary animal diseases are being vaccinated against, so that the portals from which these diseases come through to affect human beings are reduced to the barest minimum.
Adamawa State is a livestock state. It's a state that is into agric and predominantly livestock. It's about the leading state in the area of livestock. And the government has recognized that and recognized the importance of keeping our animals healthy. That's why we have this exercise, vaccination exercise. We had it last year, and we will continue to have it. We are aiming to have it for a stretch of 5 years.
They also appeal to the state government to hasten implementation of policies and programs that can bring an end to farmers' hardest clash in the state. From Yola, Salis Lawan, Trust TV News.
Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
Nigeria's high inflationary pressure, which has increased the cost of doing business, has led to slow growth in salaries and wages for employees in the second quarter of 2022. According to new data from the National Bureau of Statistics, the compensation of employees fell to 3.93% in quarter 2 from 6.48% in the previous quarter. According to the NBS, the country has been grappling with double-digit annual inflation since 2016, with the headline inflation hitting 20.7% in September, a 17-year high. The high inflationary pressure, which has been spurred by foreign exchange shortages and rising energy costs, has increased operating costs for companies, especially manufacturers. 11 ministries, departments and agencies of the government, as well as over 7,000 corporate and private entities, currently owe the federal government 5.2 trillion naira, according to a new report by the Federal Ministry of Finance. Details of the report were presented on Tuesday in Lagos by the Senior Development Consultant to the Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Abraham Ate, during a sensitization workshop organized by the ministry under its Project Lighthouse program. According to Ate, the program focused on the debt recovery drive of the federal government. In stock, the Nigerian stock market on Wednesday halted 2 days of downtrend as the all-share index appreciated by 0.54% to close at 44,046.94 points from the previous close of 43,808.25 points. The market capitalization appreciated by 0.54% to close at 23.991 trillion naira from the previous close of 23.861 trillion naira, gaining 130 billion naira. The market broke close negative as 21 equities emerged as gainers against 24 equities that declined in their share prices. An aggregate of 159 million units of shares were traded in 3,039 deals valued at 2.86 billion naira. And finally, in the UK, inflation has accelerated to the highest level for 41 years, driven by soaring energy, food and transport prices in a worsening cost of living crisis, according to official data. The consumer price index hit 11.1% in October, reaching the highest level since 1981. The Office for National Statistics said in a statement on Wednesday. That compared with 10.1% in September, which marked the level in July and was the highest in 40 years. Domestic fuel bills recorded further despite the UK government's energy price freeze as the market faced new fallout from key producer Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The October figure beat market expectations of 10.7% and was higher than the Bank of England's forecast peak. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thank you, Chiamaka, for that report. Now, on the foreign scene, according to official data, British inflation has accelerated to the highest level for 41 years, driven by soaring energy, food and transport prices in a worsening cost of living crisis. The Office of National Statistics, in a statement on Wednesday, said the consumer price index hit 11.1% in October, reaching the highest level since 1981. That is compared with 10.1% in September, which matched the level in July and was the highest in 40 years. Now let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
Winners have emerged in the Scrabble Invitational Tournament in Lekki, Lagos. The annual competition organized by the President's Lekki Scrabble Club, Ebikemi Adowe, featured top players in different categories who took part in 12 rounds on match day. After keenly contested games, Izinore George emerged champion of the 3rd Janet Adowe Memorial Invitational Scrabble Tournament to give other players a good run for their money. As overall best player, Doko Timileyin came second, while Tunde Adigun third in the Invitational Tournament. Scrabble players were delighted to compete at the tournament as they commended the organizers for giving them another platform to showcase their skills. Winner of one of the categories, Emmanuel Egbele, says the Scrabble Classics has shown that Nigeria Scrabble players are arguably the best in the world.
Scrabble, Nigeria is the #1 Scrabble playing nation in the world, and so it's expected that things like this that we do, it only goes further to cement our position as the best Scrabble nation in the world. And so it's only fitting that an event like this, Scrabble is the game that can be used to further this objective.
President Pan-African Scrabble Association Adekunle Adegbeson says the Scrabble Classics looks more national than invitational as he commends the organizers.
It's star-studded. Here you have the president of the Nigerian Scrabble Federation. You have the current African champion, Enoch Nwali. You have national champions here. You have the champions of champion, Tunde Oduwole. It's a star-studded event. It's you can say this is a national event, even though it's an invitational. It's good to see that we're having Scrabble games, of this kind of level.
And with this, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.